Hey guys, I wanted to share with you some tips and tricks on eating healthier and being a more healthy person from all the books and stuff I've read on the subject. I'm currently just skimming through this really thick book called the Okinawa Program. It's on some of the longest living people in Japan and in the world and what they've done and what they eat and what they do to live so long. And so I want to share with you my first point, which is very much related to the whole Okinawa idea. And that is that we are genetically different as humans. Like it or not, there's equality and that's all fine and dandy, but at the end of the day, genetically, we are different to a certain extent. So, despite the fact that I was born and raised in America, for all the last thousands of generations before me, they have lived in Asia. They've lived in China, and some of them have roots far into Asian countries, deep China. And so, because of that, their eating patterns and their genetics and my genetics are suited towards that habitat and that style of eating. And therefore, a lot of the foods that they eat are much more better suited to what my body will intake in terms of health and longevity, as opposed to maybe an American who's more suited to be American, say a Native American or African American or even a Caucasian. And even for them, for Caucasian people and African American people, you should be looking towards your true ancestral lands for the thousands of years of genetics, not the last 100 or 200 years where you immigrated over. And so that's very important. And therefore, this book is much more suited to me. Although I'm not Japanese, this is very close to where I grew up ancestrally through my genetics. And Japan is technically an offshoot of China. I definitely think that Japanese people came from China through traveling and migrating to different places. Anyhow, the second tip I want to give you, and this one didn't come from this book, but it's very important. It's on chewing many times before you swallow. And you'll notice that all these little things that I've picked up from a lot of different books, I'm starting to incorporate into my lifestyle and what I can do. And you can do this too. And all these things are very, very important. Now, what does this do? It really digests the food better and it really brings out all the nutrients and flavors and everything rather than just taking a few bites and swallowing it whole, which I used to do. And it's very, very hard for me to just restrain myself because you guys might not know this, but I have a really, really huge reputation. Whether it's strangers that meet me for the first time or people I know very well, I have a huge reputation for being someone who can eat everything and not gain any weight. I can literally sit at like a lunch and eat 3 or 4 plates of food and be fine with it. So chewing and taking my time with the food does a few things. It prevents me from overeating. It prevents me from eating a ton, and it prevents me from neglecting a lot of the nutrients in the food. And so that brings us to our third point. And by the way, the second and third point came from this book, 50 Secrets of the Longest Living People. I actually checked this out at the library, but I loved it so much that I ordered it off Amazon because I wanted to keep this around with me at all times to reference. And this point is restraining yourself from eating until you're 100% full. You want to stop when you are 70 to 80% full. So this, what it does is it prevents overeating and it fills you to the point where you are naturally sated rather than bloated or taking in unneeded or excess food. The fourth point comes from the Okinawa program, and a bunch of other people, mainly some success coaches uh, who say something along these lines. And I don't know if it's true based off what they say, because these people are success coaches, not nutrient or nutritionist coaches. These people aren't nutritionist coaches, they're not fitness experts, they're just success coaches. And these people have achieved a lot of wealth in their life, but that doesn't mean that they're healthy. However, I was surprised to see it in this book as well. And again, you can't 100% trust this book, but it's interesting seeing it there. And what is this? It is eating until the point is, how do I say this? It is having small meals, having small and frequent meals every day rather than 2 or 3 big meals. So this book suggests specifically to break your meals down into 6 to 8 small meals spread throughout your day. And I personally think that, long story short, it's something I wanted to look into because I've seen people who are very fanatical. I've seen people who are very fanatical about fitness and nutrition who do this as well. So it's worth looking into. And again, one of the benefits of that is not overeating and just being able to digest your food better. Um, and that brings us to the fifth thing that I've started to incorporate. This is very, very tough for me because I love to eat. I love to eat, and I'm well known for eating. And this is cutting out the sheer amount of meat that I eat and increasing the amount of fish and omega-3 fatty acid foods that I eat. So this is very tough for me because I love, love, love meat, but this book is telling me that you want to eat meat sparingly. And it's not just this book, this one as well. So this one covers not just the Okinawas, but a few other populations and tribes of people all around the world who are known to be very good at living to 100 plus in age. And one of the common things, the common themes that these people have is they eat meat sparingly. They treat meat as a special occasion event. And if you look at our genetics and our upbringing and most of human civilization, we did not have access to the fatty meats that we do have today. We didn't have a McDonald's or Burger King or KFC to go to every day. And unfortunately is affecting many different places, not just America, China too. China is just flooded with McDonald's and KFCs now, and it's affecting children horrendously. So don't start thinking that it's just in these developed countries that this is happening, or these new European type countries. No, it's all over. And what both of these books are saying is you want to eat meat sparingly, maybe once a week, and if you eat it daily, you want to eat very small portions. And that's very, very tough for me because meats are one of the things I love the most. I love sesame chicken, I love ribs, I love fried chicken. I can go on and on and on. Anyhow, I'm starting to try and figure out how can I incorporate fish. There's a certain type of fish that my family used to cook that's decent, and there's definitely types of fish that I've tasted that's awesome. And basically what they do is they add soy sauce, they add a little bit of white wine, they add a few seasonings, and they cook it with the fish. And usually the type I like best are the fish without a lot of skeleton and bones, because if you've never tried fish before like that, this raw whole fish, which is probably the best type, not the filet o fish you get from McDonald's.